Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. Today, the Detroit Lions take on the Green Bay Packers. Huge game, really big game for not only the Lions, but also the Packers as well. The Lions are currently number one in the NFC, number one overall seed. They're the only team in the NFC that only has one loss. There's a bunch of teams with two losses. And obviously more than that as well. Also, the only team in the NFL with just one loss. Other team is Kansas City, who's obviously undefeated. So really big game. For me, I think the keys to the game, and really I'll focus on two different players. Obviously, the pass rush is going to be a pretty big deal today. Jordan Love, all signs point to him playing today. He is a little, banged up. He missed practice earlier in the week and then had limited practice later on in the week, but has a groin injury. So not quite sure he'll be his same mobile self when it comes to just scrambling and getting out of the pocket. He's not quite a runner, but he is a pretty athletic quarterback. I think James Houston can potentially be huge for us. I think he needs to be huge for us. I am someone that believes a lot in our offense and what our offense can do. And when we get rolling offensively, I don't think there's any team that can beat us, Kansas City included. So I think our offense will do more than their fair share, but we're going to have to get pressure on Jordan Love, and I think James Houston can be big in that. He, a couple of years ago, he had a really good year. In just some limited action, really. It was about 8 to 9 games he played, had, I think, 5 or 6 sacks. And really, the Lions fans have been waiting on him to get back to that form, and he just hasn't done that. He's been banged up a little bit. But if he could, come up with, even 1 sack would be huge. I think he can take a lot of pressure off of just our defense as a whole. So he's one guy that I am hoping for some really good things. He's got the talent. He just hasn't showed it with the productivity just yet this year. The other guy is Terrion Arnold. I think he also has the ability. He's gotten a decent amount of personal flags, early on in his rookie season, which I'm not overly concerned about. He's a young guy. It's going to happen. There is that period of just getting acclimated to the NFL game versus college game. He's a guy who's pretty handsy, but that's pretty common for just the Alabama corners that coached by Nick Saban. Those guys are just physical. So they push the limits when it comes to how physical you can get and how handsy you can get. Early on in the season, he did get quite a few penalties, but I think he's been terrific since then. I think Carlton Davis has been terrific as far as his play. I know he's gotten he's had a couple flags, but nothing crazy. I was talking to a friend of mine who I just say, do we remember what it was like with Cam Sutton as our number one corner? It was really bad. And Carlton Davis has done a great job he just competes. He battles, he wants to have that number one assignment, and he's been playing really well. So, but back to Terrion, I think this is going to be a really big matchup. Obviously, the Tampa Bay matchup was big as well because you had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, 2 Pro Bowl receivers. And Green Bay's got some younger guys, and they're not as established as Godwin and Evans, but they are talented, and we're going to need Terrion to have a really good game, play well, just do what he's been doing the last couple weeks, and I'm confident that he will get it done. My prediction for the game is going to be Detroit Lions 34, Green Bay 28. The Lions take a pretty commanding lead in the division with 2 division wins, 2-0 in the division. And once again, being the only one-loss team in the NFC, and the road to the number 1 seed continues. So that's it for me. Appreciate it. Have a good one.